Hey, what's going on everyone? Fever here, back with another video, guys. Today I'm going to be showing you the best M4 class setup in Modern Warfare Warzone Season 5, and we're going to be going over 3 different variations for the M4. One that focuses purely on no recoil, one that focuses on purely mobility, and one that's sort of a sweet mix between the two. So the M4 is kind of one of those guns where it's never been super overpowered, but it's never been bad either. It's sort of been one of those middle range guns where you'll see a lot of newer players use it, and for good reason. It's a really good gun. It's got decent accuracy, decent range, and decent damage. So without further ado, let's hop into the no recoil class setup. All right guys, to start off with the no recoil class setup, we're going to be using the monolithic suppressor, which gives us that extra damage and sound suppression. And for the barrel here, we're going to be going with the stock M16 Grenader. This has the best damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control out of all of the different barrels. And for the underbarrel, we're going to be using the Ranger foregrip. This, out of all the different foregrips, has the best recoil control and aiming stability. It's better than the Merc foregrip, the Commando foregrip. The only issue is it's a bit slower, but we're going for no recoil. And next guys, we're going to be using the TAC laser. The other lasers are better for close range engagements, which is really not what we're going for here. We're going for no recoil, and the TAC laser is the best. We're getting an boost in the ADS speed, aiming stability, which is what we're really looking for, as well as the aim walking steadiness. All 3 of these things are super important for when you're in those long range engagements. And the last attachment we're going to be using is rubberized grip tape. What this does is it does give you recoil control, and it gives you it in the vertical direction. So what this does is when you're shooting at enemies from a longer distance, you don't have to push down as far on the analog stick to get those shots and not miss any. So if you're a newer player, I'd maybe recommend going with a 50 or 60 round mag, especially in duos, trios, and quads, because you probably will need those extra bullets and you don't have to reload in the middle of a fight. But if you're playing solos, you don't necessarily need a 50 or 60 round mag. So I'd go with the rubberized grip tape. And if you're a newer player, maybe use the 50 or 60 rounds. All right, so this next M4 class setup is based purely on mobility. You're essentially using this gun as an SMG. So I'd probably have a primary that's built to be more mid and long range. All right, for the first attachment, we're going to be again using the stock M16 Grenader. What this does is it's going to counteract some of the other attachments we're going to have on this gun, which focus on mobility. This is sort of the slower part of the attachments. Again, damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. And for the underbarrel here, we're going to be using the Merc foregrip. This is going to reduce our mobility the least while also giving us extra accuracy and the range and a little bit of control here. And for the ammunition here, we're actually going to be using the 9mm para 32 round mags. What this does is it gives us a faster fire rate, which is what we really want in an SMG. And it's also giving us a little bit of recoil control. It is going to reduce the damage and range a little bit simply because the rounds are smaller. However, we're really going for fast kills up close, getting in those close range engagements, so it's not too big of a deal for this class. Next, moving on to the optic, we're going to be using the GI Mini Reflex. This is mostly personal preference, but I'd use one of the optics that focuses on giving you the accuracy and faster control, faster ADS speed, so we're going to be going with the GI Reflex. All right, for the last attachment, this one is the most important. This was where we're really getting a lot of that mobility. It's the no stock. You guys, I'm sure you guys have heard of it. It gives us an insane boost to the mobility as well as the aim down sight speed. So this class setup is essentially built for a good mix between mobility, mostly mobility, but also giving us a little bit of that extra accuracy and those quick reloads with those ammunition's 32 round para mags. And if you want this class to be a little bit faster and didn't want to use the Merc foregrip, you could as well go with the stapled grip tape. Going to give you that extra ADS speed and sprint to fire speed, which is super important in those close range engagements. So it's really up to you. It's a toss up between either the stapled or the Merc foregrip. So choose which ones you think is best for you. And let's hop into the final loadout. Now this last M4 class setup is a mix between mobility as well as having very little recoil, and it's sort of the perfect class in my opinion. All right, for the first attachment for this class, it's going to be the monolithic suppressor, getting that sound suppression and that extra damage range, which is of course going to increase our accuracy and our range. And for the barrel, we're going to be using the Corvus Custom Marksman. It's very similar to the stock M16 Grenader, but it has a little bit of a shorter barrel, so it has a little bit less recoil control and damage range. However, you are actually getting a little bit of a bonus here because you're going to have faster mobility as well as a quicker ADS speed. So it's a good mix between recoil control and mobility. All right, we're going to be using for the underbarrel the Commander foregrip. It has a similar sort of bonus setup compared to the Corvus and the M16 Grenader. What this is it has a quicker ADS speed and mobility. However, it is not as good as the Ranger foregrip when it comes to things like recoil control and damage range. Next up, for this class setup, I do typically use the 50 round magazine. However, if you were comfortable using 30 rounds, you could go and swap this out with the tac laser. However, for this class setup, we're going to be using the 50 round mag, simply because I think sometimes 30 rounds isn't enough for a lot of scenarios, so we're going to be using 50 rounds. So for this last attachment, we're going to be using the Corp Combat Hollow Sight, which is similar to the GI Reflex. However, you're getting a little bit extra range and a little bit extra accuracy. So if you do like using sights, I definitely recommend trying this one out, or you could go with the VLK as well. And if you're totally fine with the iron sights and you don't really care too much, you could again just use the tac laser and go with the 50 round mag. So it's really a personal preference thing when it comes to using a iron sight or just a regular optic sight. All right guys, so those are the 3 different M4 class setup variations. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know what your M4 class setup is. And other than that guys, I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.